to yet another session of a 5-day workshop, and today's topic for discussion is meditation. I welcome Ms. Deepa Chaudhary, Vice President, Anand Global Foundation. She is a self-directed, motivational and action-oriented professional with more than 7 years of experience in education sector. She has served as school mentor in Red Hill School and Loreto Convent School, Lucknow. She has also been a motivational speaker in a number of schools like DPS, Queen's Convent, JP International, Abhinav Public School, Udgam School, and many more, and has taken workshops on good touch, bad touch, anger management, and anti-bullying. She is committed to creating an atmosphere that is inspiring and promising for a child. Welcome, ma'am. I also welcome Miss Archie Shawkeen. She's a speaker for the day. She is a meditation and yoga trainer, a fitness enthusiast, and a yoga exponent from Delhi. She is well versed in multiple yogic schools with around 5 years of experience in guiding students to push their edge while remaining centered as well. She has an ability to manage large classes, providing individualized attention. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to IIMT University.
Thank
And
you.
I hand over the stage to you, Deepa.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for such a beautiful introduction. Okay, so Miss Archie, I would really love to start with just telling our students like what is actually good health.
Yeah, sure. So health has its own so many self-created definitions. Like if we go by the textbooks, we will see that it says absence of any illness is health. If you have no illness in you, it is called health. Yeah. But if we go by this, that if you are free from any disease, is it really possible? Is it really that we cannot have any disease? Even if we scan the members available right now, we scan the body and we'll find, yes, even you, everybody has the disease. So as per the Ayurveda, if we go, there we find a very good definition to be compassionate is the good health. That means when you get up in the healthy. No, when you get up in the morning, you just ask yourself this question: how am I feeling today? Am I ready to go to work? Am I really want to go to work? Am I really ready for the study? Am I really want to go to the college, or I have to go to the college? I have to the work. If the answer is I have to go to the work, that means there's some problem in your physical health. If this is compulsion for you, then there's some problem. And similarly, if you need to help someone and you ask that, am I ready to help that person, or am I have to, help that person, or that I have to be compassionate? If the answer is yes, you have to be, because it's a compulsion, it's been taught to you or been, feed it to you that you have to help, then there's some problem, mental well-being. But if you're always ready, always happy to help other people, that means you are mentally very, very strong. So these are the two checks. If you are okay with both the checks in the morning, you're ready for the day and you can consider yourself very much in good health. So this is the best definition of health. Health is the enthusiasm to work and enthusiasm to be compassionate. If these two factors are satisfying, you don't need any scans or anything, or go to the x-rays and machines, and nothing is required. You are healthy. No certification is required. Yeah, so this is the good health. And yes, if we add I to ourselves, the letter I, it creates illness, because it comes with ego, it comes with stubbornness, I. And if we consider we, we all, so we comes with wellness. So yes, if you always consider we in your life, it will always come with wellness. I will come with illness. So never think about I, always think about we. That will give you happiness, wellness, and everybody around you will also be happy if you consider we. So this is as per me, it's the best definition of good health.
Of course, that's very true, Archie ma'am, that, whenever we think about others, automatically that positivity surrounds us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true. But one more thing I want to ask, that during the pandemic, especially the students, they are facing a lot of stress about, attending their classes, and there are various aspects like these students, they might be worrying, day and night about their future, that what is going to happen now, how will we get jobs, and there's, so much negativity around. So like, how can, what is the, possibility that they can just come out of that mental, trap they are in?
Yeah, definitely stress is there, especially during this pandemic. Earlier also students were under stress, but yes, this has created a little additional stress to them, because stress comes with so many things, like academic stress they have. In the starting, Vatsala ma'am, said that they are going half online, half offline. So when a child studies online, but when he gives the exam offline, so he has this academic stress as well. Ki padha to sara online, and now I have to go there and give the exam. So this academic stress is there, maintaining their grades throughout. That stress, that academic stress is there. Definitely it's there, and plus the social stress has increased. Like you have just Deepa ma'am informed that yes, whether we'll get the jobs, that my mama's son has got their placement, whether I will get, what others will say. So yes, the social stress is also there, and additionally financial stress is also there on the students these days. Earlier, what happened before the pandemic, students got the chance to go out and work part-time. Many of the students were doing part-time jobs, but they are gone now. So that pocket money thing is gone. And especially the students who are living in the hostels, they have their additional expenses. So that opportunity is being, taken away from them. So definitely financial stress is also there on them. So we should not, run away from the problem. Yes, stress is there, anxiety is there. Definitely it's there, and we should acknowledge that. Let's first acknowledge the problem and then go to the solution. Now, we have acknowledged that yes, we have academic stress, yes, we have social stress, yes, the students have the financial stress. Now, how to overcome about it? Stress is there. So the best way to go, whenever the problem comes, the best way is to go to the fundamentals, to the basic of the life. What are the basics of the life? How to get rid of the stress from the base of the life? When we start working upon the body, when we start working upon the mind, when we start working upon our emotions and the energies within us. If we work on the basic fundamentals of our life, then we can definitely get rid of stress. And even if the stress comes, see, we cannot avoid any situation. We cannot, even if I'm meditating, I cannot avoid pandemic. It will come. It will just help us. Meditation will help us to how to, handle that situation in a wiser manner, without getting stressed, without getting, depressed or anything like that. So yoga, here comes the main role of yoga. Yoga helps because yoga works in totality. It's a holistic approach. Yoga works on your spirituality. Yoga works on your physical health, mental health, intellectual health, social health. So it works holistically. So definitely when it comes to holistic thing, we cover all the fundamentals of the life, and we can, come over it. We can come out of the stress by working on the fundamentals. Always, any problem, we go to the basics and then we, try to solve it. Again, with the same situation, pandemic created stress, anxiety, depression, go to the fundamentals, go to the base and try to solve it. And base is definitely, the yoga is the base.
Yeah, that's actually very, very important part of a life. So any tips, Archie ma'am, you would like to give, for the students, or maybe general for us also? All of us, I believe, are in some sort of stress. So any tips you would like to give to be more joyful and less stressful?
Yeah, definitely. Being joyful is the, is our basic nature. The basic nature of humans is being joyful, not stressful. God has not created us with stress. He created us with joy. So to being joyful, I would give you 5 main things that you can try, and you can see the benefits like in 2 days. So number one, you may find it little, weird, but it really worked with many of my students. Create an account of joyfulness. When we when we do any business, we create an account, whether we are progressing in the business. Even when we are students, we keep a report card. Am I progressing in my exams, because we need a record. Every time we need to go back. We cannot rely every time on our brain. So keep an account of your joyfulness. Write down. Today is Monday. Today in the evening, write down before going to bed, I had 4 joyful moments. I was fully joyful at those 4 moments. Next day comes Tuesday. Tuesday evening, write down. Was I 4 or was it at 5 today? So try to reach 5. Yes, today I had 5 joyful moments. So once it comes, you start recording and you see the progress report. So even if any difficult situation comes to you, you will not feel like depressed, because joyful will become your nature. Once you carry on with that graph, so that will not take you down. The stress will not take you down, because that will become your basic nature of being joyful, because you have been progressing it all the way. So number one, keep an account of your joyful moments. It's really important, really, really important. It will work if anybody is going through the stress. Create it. Even 1 moment of joy, next day make sure you have 2. The another I would recommend is eat with gratitude. Whenever you have anything in plate, especially the students, mama ne khana dal ke diya, mama ye kyun banaya? We are very these days, people are, especially the kids, are very really fussy about the food. They don't know the importance, the value of the food. They just see food in the plate and next plate is also ready with them. So they don't value the food. So eat with gratitude. Even if I take a small example here, suppose I lock myself in a room for 5 days and I don't eat anything for 5 days. And 5th day, God appears to me. What will I ask for? Food. First give me food, then give me anything else. So food is that important. Even God comes to you, and if you are hungry, you'll ask for the food, you'll not ask for the wealth. So every time eat with gratitude. Next, another important, this will give you joy. When you do this to your plate and then start eating, this will give you an inner joy. That it's difficult, or tell, but when you do it, then you feel yourself. Then the next important is connection with the Mother Earth. We all, be on the wearing the shoes and all, and we just forgot the touch that is required with the earth, the soil, the basic root of our existence is required. So I request everyone here in this space, in this virtual space, that take out the time of just 5 minutes to be barefoot and walk either on the grass or the soil. Go to your garden, do some cuddling with the soil. Do anything. Your body will respond in a very positive manner. Your stress will just vanish away once you touch the Mother Earth. It will take all the stress from you. So the important point is make a connection of Mother Earth with the soil at least 5 minutes a day. This is really important to be joyful inside and outside. Another is wake up with us. When you get up in the morning, oh my God, I'm running late. These are the things that comes to us. So starting hi galat hai. Always get up, smile, gratitude. Yes, I'm alive. My all loved ones are alive, because it seems to be little rude, but it's true that everybody doesn't wake up in the morning. There are so many million people. They don't wake up tomorrow. So once you wake up and you see all my loved ones are alive, smile, gratitude. This will give you so much, positivity to start a day. So a smile is an important thing that you should be doing first thing in the morning and carry on throughout the day. And the fifth and the most important tip for being joyful and less stressful, make a New Year resolution that I meditate. I know New Year resolutions are being done and they are being broken down also many times. But it's still not late. Make a resolution that I meditate. How to meditate, what all is required, I'm here to tell you. But yes, make this resolution today. So these are the main points I would like to cover. I wanted to cover with you to being more joyful and less stressful.
Yeah. Definitely, Ms. Archie, such beautiful tips you've given. But I believe, the young generation these days,
Yeah.
they believe more on scientifically and medically, proven facts. They are not ready to believe this touch of, the earth, Mother Earth. They are not ready to believe when, even our elders used to tell us that we should always sit on the floor and have our meals. That will give you a better digestion. That will help you connect with your basic what you call the basic virtues which we have passed on from generations. So we used to believe kya hota hai, kuch nahi hota agar hum table chair pe bhi baithenge or we sit on the gun, but there is a difference
There's a lot of
that we've come to realize at this age. But these days they ask for facts, scientific or maybe of medical facts. So can you just highlight the benefits of meditation in that perspective? How can we explain it to the young generation, who are so in this maybe virtual world and such a, for everything there's a reason and a scientific reason. So they believe more on that. So how can we, just convince them?
Yeah, Deepa, that's true. And in the same way, it's a sad thing that meditation is with us from thousands and thousands of years. It's, you open up the history and you'll see that I don't know, we don't have the, even the era that from since when the meditation is going on. And at this point, we are asking proof. We are for the evidence, but that's okay. This generation wants it, and we should give them to satisfy them, to tell them, yes, you should start meditation. These are the medical benefits and these are the scientifically proven facts. But before that, I want you to, watch a short video to get a, more feel about it. Yeah, can I? Okay, I'll just do that.
We cannot hear the sound, Archie ma'am.
No?
No, we cannot hear the sound.
Okay,
There's
I'll just see.
Ma'am, probably when
Starts
you
in the brain. During meditation, brain scans see increased activity in regions directly correlated with decreased anxiety and depression, along with increased pain tolerance. The default mode network in particular is activated when one's mind is at rest and not focusing on the outside world, and has been found to improve memory, self-awareness, and goal setting. Want to be more caring to your friends and family? When scientists compared the brains of Buddhist monks to new meditators, they found the region of the brain associated with empathy to be much more pronounced in the monks. It also literally changes your brain waves, and we can measure these frequencies. Meditators have higher levels of alpha waves, which have been shown to reduce feelings of negative mood, tension, sadness, and anger. And if that wasn't enough, it also physically changes our brain shape and size. Studies found that after 8 weeks of a meditation program, gray matter was more dense in areas associated with learning, memory processing, and emotion regulation. And yet the amygdala, which deals with stress, blood pressure, and fear, had decreased gray matter. When we look at the entire body, not only do we see decreased blood pressure, but it can also increase the variability of your heart rate. And while this may sound harmful, it actually plays a critical role in properly transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout your body. Think you're getting sick? In a study where both meditators and non-meditators were given the flu virus, meditators were able to produce a greater number of antibodies and had increased immune function. If we go a little deeper, we can even see changes on a cellular level. Your chromosomes have protective protein complexes called telomeres, which help reduce damage to your DNA and lower cell death. And a shortened telomere length has been linked to several diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Amazingly, when cancer survivors completed a meditation program, their bodies showed significant increases in telomere length. It's believed that psychological intervention, particularly decreasing stress, has a direct effect on the enzyme telomerase, which has been shown to counteract shortening by adding DNA to the shrinking telomeres. Of course, meditation is not a substitute for other medical advice or a healthy lifestyle. We don't want you leaving this video thinking it will cure cancer. But much like hitting the gym can grow your muscles and increase your overall health, it seems that meditation may be a way of working out your brain with extra health benefits. And since your brain controls, well, all of you, why not relax and say every once in a while? And if you like working out your brain, be sure to get our ASAP.
That was actually very, very scientifically proven.
Yeah, so that was a little, more science and more about that. So if I, break it, the same video into some, easy words and easy points. So if we go to the science and find out the benefits of meditation, so the foremost benefit we get is it improves our immune system. That we have seen in COVID. Many people were cured. It's not that this is the replacement of medicine. No, this is not the replacement of the medicine. But yes, if you keep on doing it, if you keep, make it a regular practice of meditation, then you can easily get rid of small problems like cold, flu, virus, fever. Even with the COVID, people who were COVID positive and they were taking the medicines, and along with when they started doing the meditation, they got results very fast compared to the other people who were not meditating and they were just on medicines. So it definitely improves and it protects you from viruses. So this is the 1 point. Second is the sleep. Yeah, definitely sleep is the very important factor, and these days we are neglecting it, and we are getting so many disorders because of the lack of the sleep or because of the wrong patterns of the sleep. We started believing quantity of sleep rather than quality of sleep. And always the quality is always more, is more beneficial than the quantity. Even 4 hours of deep sleep is always better than 8 hours of, bad sleep. So sleep and this meditation helps. When people started meditation, they get to, know and they get to experience that they sleep for less hours, but when they get up, they feel more fresh. Even when they used to get sleep for 8 hours, they were not that fresh. Even brain disorders have started so much because of the sleep disorder of the people. So many other, diseases we are catching up daily because of the bad sleep disorders. So definitely sleep is one of the very main factor for humans to get a good health. So, and it improves with meditation. Another is the lifespan. It's very easily and very commonly seen in youngsters these days. Students who are 20, 22 age, and they have gray hair. They have gray hair. I remember using anti-aging cream very early. Their skin and everything, started, means that what I mean to say, they have reached to a place where our elders were used to reach at 50, they are at 20 at the same place. So the lifespan, the quality of life is decreasing because of our poor lifestyle. So how the science has proved it, in our body, we have the cells called chromosomes, and chromosomes are the main cells which are responsible to make our good quality of life, that decides our lifespan. So when we meditate, our body produces T cells. In the video you have seen telomeres, they were saying. So telomeres are being created by the body, and what happens, these telomeres protect the chromosomes and it stops it from depleting before the age. So if you see a person who is in 60s and he's been meditating for many years, and you compare to a 20-year or 25-year-old man, and you compare them, the 60-year, you will find more glowy, more strong, overall look, and very attractive too. So this is the difference, because he has in his body, he has telomeres that is giving him good quality of life. So definitely you can increase your lifespan also with meditation. Another important benefit is your brain function. The main function of the brain is the memory. And we are seeing so many, people facing memory loss problem these days. Memory loss is like a common thing. Number bhul jate hain. Earlier there were no phones, still people used to remember, you know, all the phone numbers, all the birthdays, all the anniversaries, still keep an arm and everything, still will forget. Memory loss is the problem that is happening, and if you want to reduce it, if you want to, you know, make it better for you, then definitely this meditation will help you. It makes the brain work so well that you do not tend to forget the things. You tend to forgive the things but not forget the things. You know, there's a difference, forgive and forget. You will forgive but you'll not forget. So our brain functions that way. And definitely, as I told you, a physical appearance, it's scientifically proven. People who meditate regularly, they look very beautiful, they look very handsome, they look very attractive. So yes, students, this is a very good chance to look good. If you meditate, you will definitely, you can improve your physical appearance. And one last but the very important thing is career building. Meditation helps you in career building. We always think that only books helps us. No, meditation helps us. How? Suppose you want to create your life the way you want to be the CEO of a company, or you want to, you know, achieve greater heights. But does anything comes without pressure? No. As high you go in your career, more and more pressure comes to you. How will you handle it? You know, we have seen many people who have very good money, who have good family, great expensive car, luxurious lifestyle, but from inside they are miserable. They are not able to cope up. They are not able to cope up with that pressure of everything around from their surroundings. So meditation will help you to stabilize everything, to stabilize your career, to handle everything, to handle your family, to handle at the same moment, to handle the family, career, your kids, everything. For the students, I would say to handle your studies plus career and other, your friends and party and everything. If you want to, you know, go in a very balanced manner, meditate. Otherwise, end of the day, I've seen people crumbling up, and in spite of having everything around them, because they are not stabilized from inside. So these are the 5 main benefits that science has proven, that people who meditate, they really do well in their careers too. So I think this will help the students, and it will motivate them to meditate from today.
Yeah. So, Miss Archie, like now since, you know, you've told so many tips, you know, and the benefits of meditation. So, you know, how to meditate, and especially for the beginners. Hardly, I believe, any of these youngsters might be meditating, and I would be very happy if any one of them will be. So, like, suppose these are beginners. So, how can they start with their meditation?
Yeah. First, let's talk about the myths around the meditation. Let's burst about the myths about the meditation. Then it's easier to, you know, they'll be more motivated to start. So people think that they need darkness in the room. They have to sit straight. They have to sit cross-legged. Padmasan mein baitho, cross-legged baitho, shant raho, thoughts nahi aana chahiye. These things, these all are myths. This is not, you know, this is not what meditation says. People think that when I have seen people, students especially, saying, no, I have so many things in my mind, I cannot meditate, because somebody had told me that to meditate, you should not have any thought in your mind. This is not possible. You know, no thought is not possible if you are a human. Thoughts will come, definitely thoughts will come. So this is a wrong, it's a myth that is there, that if you have to meditate, no thought should come to your mind. If you stop your thoughts, more and more thoughts will come to you. I'll share a very short story here with you. It's a very interesting story. There was a Chinese person who got to know from somewhere that there are some saints in India, in some Himalayas, and they in one day they tell something to you, and you get enlightenment. You attain that enlightenment, and you be Amar and everything. You just go there and ask them what they teach. He was very curious. He went there, with all the problems, and he went to the Himalayas and met those saints and asked them, please tell me fast those mantras that you have, and I want to attain enlightenment. They say, okay, you are in very hurry. Okay, will tell you a shortcut of getting enlightenment. This is the mantra. They told him one mantra, and you just need to, you just need to mentally chant it for 1 hour in a day. But there's only one condition: monkey should not come into your mind. Image of monkey should not come to your mind. If a monkey comes to you in your mind, then this will get failed, and you'll never get enlightenment. Okay, that's very easy for him. Okay, I'll do that. Why monkey comes to my head? I don't even think about monkeys throughout the day. Why should monkey comes to my head? He went back to his country and started, went to the river and everywhere and find a peaceful place and started meditating. And with that mantra, he chanted once, monkey comes to him. Because then he chanted again monkey comes to him, to his mind. He was so furious that I'm not thinking about the monkey. Why the monkey is coming again and again into my head? Why is it coming? I'm not thinking about, there's no monkey around me. Why the monkey, bar it is coming to my head? He got furious. So, and definitely there's no shortcut to it. So he stopped doing that. So the point is, the thing, if I ask you not to think about this, that thing will definitely come to you. So if I say, okay, you are meditating, do not think of anything else, definitely thoughts will come to you. So don't stop the thoughts. Don't forcefully stop the thoughts. With practice, they will start decreasing. Number of thoughts will start decreasing. Here definitely you'll be flooded. You'll be flooded with thoughts when you start meditating, but that doesn't mean you stop meditating. No, that is the step 1 of meditation. Thoughts will come to you and you have to just acknowledge them and move on. So this is one thing. Another, cross leg position. Humse cross leg nahi hota. Our muscles are very tight. We go to the gym and that, and we cannot sit like this and that. Not required. Even if you are walking, you can do meditation. Even if you are humming, you can do meditation. Even if you are running, you can do meditation. So there are various ways. कोई जरूरत नहीं है एकांत में बैठना है, लाइट ऑफ करना है, 1 घंटा बैठना है. No, not required at all. You can do it the way I will tell you in a while. You can do it any time you want. Anytime you want. Anything that you are doing, you can still meditate. Yeah, this is another myth that is there among everybody. And one more thing that I really, I recently faced. I was taking a class and some men were also there in the class, and I took the meditation and they were saying, okay ma'am, we are going because we don't do men don't do the meditation. Why? Because I asked them why men can't do the meditation. They say because it makes us weak. They think that it makes us emotionally weak. Meditation makes us weak. No, not at all. It doesn't make you weak at all. People have this myth कि meditation से हम emotionally weak हो जाएंगे. This is the job of only ladies or kids. No, it's not. It's for because it tells you not to react but to respond. You have seen people, especially men, they react very fast. Rather than responding, they react. And meditation helps you. You will see that it will ask you to stop reacting and start responding. Yeah. So if a time allows me, I have a very good story around this reaction and response too. Do you want to listen? A very short story. Akbar and Birbal. One day Akbar came to his court and everybody was sitting. Birbal, always the first one to sit closer to him. He came and he slapped the Birbal. Birbal smiled. He was very wise. He smiled. He slapped the next person sat to him. The next person to the other person. And this way it went on and on for days. Village, kingdom, one person slap another, one person. They took it as a game. That we have a game that we slap you, you slap the other person. It went on and on and on. And after many days, one fine evening, when Akbar went to his wife's room, she slapped Akbar. He said, oh, how can you slap me? I'm the king of this. Oh, so she said, oh, I thought this is a game going on and I wanted to end it with you because you started it. So what happened? Birbal did not react. He did not get furious. कि इन्होंने मुझे सबके सामने कैसे थप्पड़ मारा. He responded. So this is the difference of reaction and response. Plus this is a example of good of karma as well. What you do, what you receive, आपको जरूरी नहीं है from the same person you need to take the revenge. It will come to him, not from you, but from the other person. So these days I have seen students especially, ma'am has said to me, or the other student has said to me this, my girlfriend has said to me this, how can she do that? And they are ready to revenge then and there, take the revenge. Don't do that. There are karmas, and it will come back to the same person the way the God has thought of it. So this is one thing. So meditation helps us to respond rather than to react. So these are the myths that I would like to burst. And then if it comes to meditation, Deepa ma'am asked me how to meditate. Very simple. You don't have to do anything. You just, if you have time, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes to sabke paas hota hai. Let's, for the beginners, I'm telling you, start with 2 minutes. Keep a timer of 2 minutes with you. Wherever you are, sit, close your eyes and just watch your breath. Even if you're walking, don't close your eyes while walking, but watch your breath. Bring all your attention to your breath. See how is it going out, how is it coming in, where is it reaching inside, how is cold air coming in, hot air going out. Temperature check, watch the temperature, watch the shallow, is it deep, how is it, just observe it. No way to judgment. No, don't be judgmental with your breath. Just as how is it coming, how is it going. That is what is required for meditation. Just do it for 2 minutes and you will see the results then and there, that you will see that yes, your mind is getting calmer, you are feeling more positive about the things, the same thing that you were earlier not so positive. So that will give you so much positivity. Start with today with 2 minutes. Just focus on your breath. There are various ways of meditation where we teach. Breath is one. Another is any mantra. We all have our mool mantra given to by our parents, or Gayatri mantra, any mantra that you know. So that you can use, you can bring your attention to that mantra for 2 minutes. Just chant that and you will see the result. Or you can object. Close your eyes, just watch your heartbeats. So you can meditate by focusing on an object, either the external object, anything in front of you, or the internal object, your body organs, or anywhere you can just meditate. We are using that. So then we have chakras also, but that's in another topic. We have energy chakras inside us. We can focus on that. But for the beginners, I would say just watch your breath for 2 minutes. Today, 2 minutes, next week, maybe 3 minutes, then 5 minutes, up to 15 minutes you can reach. But yes, you can definitely start with 2 minutes to get the results. Then and their results, then and their results. So this is one thing I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Archie ma'am. So Dr. Navneet, any question, any query you would like to ask Miss Archie?
No, ma'am. Miss Archie is speaking very well and very scientifically proven facts she is telling. I do agree with this thing that whatever we give, the same thing we have to get. It is scientifically proved, and we people face it in the day-to-day working also, even day-to-day experiences also, we face it. And second thing, I do agree with this, that whatever we eat, whatever is the diet, it is a very old proverb that jaisa khaye ann waisa hoye man. So whatever we take, all these fatty acids, saturated fatty acid, unsaturated fatty acid, PUFA, MUFA, they get deposited in our brain. And the phospholipids activates our neuron activity. So whatever we eat, whatever we think, that reflects in our personality, that reflects in our day-to-day action. So I do agree with this. Right now, I don't have any query. Definitely, I will ask if later on some query arises. And I also request our audience to please raise questions.
Yeah, I'm ready to answer if we have any questions.
Yeah, any question the students or the attendees want to ask, you can just write in the chat box, and we can also promote you as a panelist. So you can just talk face to face with Miss Archie and just interact with her and talk. Okay, Vatsala ma'am, anything relating to your students you feel you want to ask her?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, sometimes I tell my students and, to people around me that the myth that you've just busted, that it is not essential to keep yourself completely free of thoughts. And as humans, it is just impossible. So somewhere a few years back, I read about this term mindfulness. And then I started practicing on my own self. So ma'am, if you could please enlighten our students about what mindfulness is and how they can, start meditating with this, with all those thoughts coming in and going out.
Sure. Thank you, Vatsala ma'am, for this wonderful question. Yeah, definitely mindfulness helps a lot. This is a step one for, this is a preparatory step for meditation. So mindfulness means to be in the present state. So what happens these days with us, with students, with everybody, that whatever we are doing currently, even if we are in a class or we are working or whatever we are doing, our mind oscillates. It moves from the past or in the future. Why this happened to me? What will, if this will happen to me? We are either in the past or we are either in the future. We are never in the present. So mindfulness is to learn to be in the present, to be in the present state, to be in the moment, to be here. So once you start learning to be in the present, then you will start seeing the results, that the stress will not come, because the stress is not about the being present. Stress is always either about the past or about the future. It's never about the present. This moment we don't have any stress. This moment, that moment is gone. Now again this moment. So the present moment, we don't have any stress. So if we learn this mindfulness to start, be in the present, so we can definitely get rid of these anxiety, depressions, and stress problems. And for that, you just even if you are doing something, some thoughts come to you. So what happens is, even if you are doing your best activity, suppose you like to paint and you are painting, you're any class or you're painting, because this is what you love to do. Still you will feel some moment will come to you where your mind distracts. But what happened, since that is your favorite activity, you make your mind to come back to that original practice. You were painting, so you were diverted, but consciously you made it to come back to the present moment. Same thing we should be doing with everything that we do, even if that is of our, because every time we cannot do everything of our choice. So even if you are in a class, if your mind distracts, bring it back as soon as possible, but not to think, oh my God, why I'm thinking, ma'am had told not to think anything. No, acknowledge that thought, respect that thought, and then come back. Because if you will not respect that thought will come back to, like that monkey was coming. So that monkey will also come and disturb you again. So acknowledge, okay, I listened to you. Now I'm back to my work. I'm back to my studies. So that will help you in mindfulness, to achieve mindfulness.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And another question that I would just like to ask you, ma'am, that is there a suitable time for meditating? Like some people tell early morning is best, but for so many people, it's really hard to wake up early in mornings. So another set of people tell that, when you're about to sleep before bedtime, right before bedtime, that is the best time to meditate. Is there any suitable time?
If I give you a suitable time, you'll miss it, because people then take it as an excuse. Ma'am ne morning to miss ho gaya. I had so many things to do.
Right.
Ma'am ne I was too tired in the evening. I couldn't do. So that comes up as an excuse. So to, get out of these excuses, do it anytime. Even if you are traveling, you are in a bus, you are in a metro, you are everywhere, just focus on your breath. I told you, while walking also, even you get down to a bus stop and you're walking back down to your college, you can just watch your breath. Be mindful, but yes, at the same breath pe dhyan hai to pata hi nahi traffic aa raha hai. No, that means being in the present. You should know what is happening there, but breathing as well. Breathing, attach your mind to your breath, because meditation is the time with you, with your inner self. Because what happens these days, social media has come up, Instagram, Facebook, everything, so we are always connected to the outer world. So this moment will give you the chance to connect with inner self so take that 2 minutes to give time for yourself, for your inner self to grow.
Okay, Archie
Thank
ma'am,
you.
there's
Thank you
one
so
more
much.
question here. It's from Dr. Abhishek Kumar. He wants to ask that how to make our brain calm in the time of anger.
Calm in the time of anger. Okay. If you're angry, first of all, if you start practicing this mindfulness and meditation, you will get to know that and you will not get that much angry that you used to be, because the degree of angerness will come down to you. And still, if you think that you are getting angry to anything, you should know that the other person doesn't get affected with that. You are your organs are affected with your. So you is getting affected. If you really come out of this session, start counting in a decreasing order. Suppose you wanted to get angry and you wanted to hit the other person, hit the other student. You just calm down and start counting 10, 9, 8, 7. Internally start counting in a reverse order, and you'll find that by the time you reach from 10 to 1, your anger is almost gone. So that thing you can practice, and definitely once you start meditation, anger will the degree of angerness will definitely decrease. So that this thing you can try it out, and I'm sure this will help you.
There's a question in the chat also from Saksham. I think it's the same. What should we do when we are in such a situation where we get and feel frustrated or angry or stuck?
See, situations, meditation will never help you to stop getting those situations. Situations will come to you, but this will help you to, I told you that story, not to react, but to respond. You will use your brain, because at times our brains got shut and we just start doing anything, which was not required. At times we feel guilty after that. So rather than, being that, once you start this practice of meditation 2 minutes a day, you will find that you will know you are not frustrated. You are not angry. You are taking one step at a time. You're facing the situation and you're getting the results. You know how to have situation in a very wiser manner. So this will help you. Situations will come, but you will know that how to handle the situation in the best manner. And this will make you different from other people.
Definitely. And there's one more question from Dr. Abhishek Kumar. How to teach our children under the age of 12 how to concentrate on their studies?
You can concentrate on the studies. Definitely meditation helps in the concentration. As I told you, it helps in the growth of the brain, how the cognitive brain functions. So it helps there. It changes all the chemical reactions inside the brain once you start meditation. So definitely the concentration level will increase, and plus start some asanas. If you have any teacher around you, yoga teacher, then if you want, you can have some online sessions or offline, the way you want, and reach out there and make them learn yoga from today. This will help them to achieve better marks, to be more centered, and this will help definitely. So both the things, asanas that we call that you call yoga. Yoga comes, actually yoga has all the things. It has asana and meditation both. So you can start the yoga exercises plus the meditation. So this will, and you will see the results in their concentration, in their marks, how they behave with the elders. You will see a drastic change in overall personality of the kids.
That's very true. So one last question I would like to ask is, like, what is the relationship between mind and meditation?
Mind and meditation, yeah. We have been discussing this. To calm down your mind, we need meditation, because I told you mind is a monkey. It keeps jumping from past to future. But to bring it to the center, to bring it to the present, you need meditation. So to calm down your mind, to get that peace, to be in the present, to make the life the way you want it to be, not pushed by your parents or pushed by your teachers. Do this, do that, take this stream. If you want to create the life of your own choice, start meditating, because this will help the growth of your brain. This will help you, to tackle your emotions. These days, tackling the emotions is a very difficult thing. So many, suicide cases and everything is happening because of the mind. It is not the brain is telling them. No, brain is not telling it, because brain is the physical part. Mind, main thing that you need to control. What we were, that mind is the master of us. No, we are the master of our mind. Be the master of your own mind. Don't be the slave of your mind. You should know that how to control it, how to control your emotions, how to control your thoughts, how to make them in a positive way. So for that, definitely meditation is required to make the mind more and more calmer and to make it more and more creative. Creativity increases a lot with meditation, I'm telling you. A lot of people I've seen, they've started being so creative after they started meditation. So this way.
There's one more question, Archie ma'am. Is pranayam different from meditation, as both focus on breath control?
Pranayam is again the one step before this meditation. Meditation is a later stage that you will achieve once you done with the pranayam. We cannot, jump to the meditation. So that I told you, that breath thing, that breath work, once you start doing, that will take you to meditation. Yeah, then it will give you the meditation. But yes, first the pranayams that we say, alternate breathing, bhastrika, anulom vilom, so many kapalbhati, so many pranayams are there. They will prepare your mind to meditate. That is the preparatory step for meditation.
Okay, thank you so much for giving such beautiful insights to us, because I think most of us who don't practice this are not that much aware of these things. So one more thing I wanted to ask, which I believe many of us has this maybe a myth or a fact, that is meditation only spiritual?
Yeah, it is not only spiritual, because as I told you, the scientific benefits, it works on your physical body, it works on your emotional being, it works on your intellectual being, it works on your social being, how you behave with society. This is being done by the meditation. So it is not only spiritual, but yes, it is spiritual as well, but it is not only religious. I have got this question many times, is it religious? Why would we chant Om? We are Christians, we are Muslim, why should we chant Om? No, Om is nothing related to the religion. It's a sound, it's a vibration of the universe. It's not a Hindi word, or it's not any word of any religion. So meditation is spiritual, but it is not religious. When we pray, we ask, but when we meditate, we receive. So there's a difference in prayer and this also, meditation. Because I have got this question that we pray, why do we meditate? Because in prayer, we ask the God, we want this, we want this. But in meditation, we receive. We open ourselves to receive the energy from all over the universe. So this is the main thing, and definitely it's spiritual, but not at all religious.
Thank you so much. Any other question, ma'am or sir, you would like to ask Miss Archie?
I have a query in my mind.
Yeah.
Suppose we ask our students to do meditation, and like ma'am told the story of monkey. So monkey will come in their mind and they won't do meditation. So can you suggest some techniques for 2 minutes or 3 minutes which can be performed during the classes or after or in between classes for meditation?
Yes.
Any short techniques you would suggest?
So let's do the meditation together for 2-3 minutes, and you will see how how it works. You'll get the hand-on experience that how it works. Yeah. So can we do that, Deepa ma'am?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I request everyone to, wherever they are sitting, just sit straight, because the energy flows through the spine. So spine straight. Sit on the sofa, sit on the chair, sit on the floor, wherever you are, just sit relaxed and close your eyes gently. Very gently close your eyes. And now watch your breath. Breath coming in, going out. No forceful inhalation, no forceful exhalation. Just watch the natural breathing. This way, this moment, the way you are breathing, just observe that breathing. And you will see that some light, some thoughts coming to you. Acknowledge them, let them go. As you are watching a movie, scenes are coming, scenes are going, you're not holding them. So same way, thoughts are coming, just watch them, let them go. Do not hold them. And again, bring the attention to your breath. And feel that your mind is getting relaxed with each breath. And when you are exhaling, you are feeling light. You are exhaling all the unnecessary things that you have just prepared in your mind. Just let them go. Let go all the unnecessary things in your mind. And just watch your beautiful breath. Enjoy this breathing process. Breath coming in, breath going out. Breath coming in, breath going out. And breath is just not mere oxygen or carbon dioxide. This is your pranic shakti. This is your life force. Breath hai, tabhi tak hum prani hain. Just simply watch your breath. Happily inhale, happily exhale. 2 minutes more. Let the thoughts come, let the thoughts go. Bring back your attention to your breath again. Now for last 1 minute, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Exhale all the stress if you have, and try to exhale longer than inhale. 10 times more. Inhale through the mouth, exhale through the nose. Very slow inhale and very slow exhale. Exhale deeper than inhale. Feel strong when you inhale, feel light when you exhale. Three more times. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. One last. Inhale through the nose and very deep exhale through the mouth. Relax. Now smile and open your eyes gently and feel the way you are feeling right now. Feel the way you are feeling. In few, like we have not done even for 2 to 3 minutes. And you can see like how you are feeling. You can see the thoughts have changed. You know, everything in the brain is changing. So this is the power of meditation. This is what you can do in your classes. Ask them to close their eyes for 2 minutes. Jo bhi mind mein aa raha, let it come. But do not attach yourself with that thought. This is important. As I told you the example of paint, when you are painting, thoughts come, but you again started painting. Same way, again bring the attention to your breath. Thought come, let the thought go, again back to the attention. Yeah, this is the simplest way of meditation.
Very true, very true.
Feeling lighter actually.
Yeah, you feel very light. Very light. Yeah.
And when we were developing few thoughts only, it may be due to that we are listening for 1 hour on the same topic. So I myself developed only 3-4 thoughts during this 2-minute process.
Yes, yes. So once you make it a practice, so less and less thoughts will start coming up to you. So, and more you start starting meditation, basically. So that point is the start of the meditation. But don't, start with that thought, no thoughts, and then I will start meditation. That cannot be achieved. Step 1, thoughts, and then step 2, meditation.
So I can see any other queries here. So yeah, Navneet sir, you wanted to ask something?
No, ma'am. I am relaxed now. With meditation.
Enjoy this relaxation.
So now, yeah. So like, I believe there is no question from the students. Yeah. So like, can we end the session now, Vatsala ma'am?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. And since it has been such a beautiful hands-on experience that Shauki madam has given all of us today, and maybe a practice to adopt for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, ma'am. And just to end this all with a because Dean sir is a more senior member here at department. So I request sir to please deliver the vote of thanks for our wonderful speakers today.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, it had been a wonderful journey for 5 days, or we can say 6 days, because one day was break during this journey. And today itself, we have felt it that it is a workshop, because if we are doing workshop, we are the scientific community persons. So if we are doing something, then we feel it is workshop. So today we felt it is a true sense workshop. And I am highly thankful to this NN Global Foundation Group who has given this opportunity to our college, to our faculty members and to our students to undergo this 5-day workshop. I am thankful to the chairperson of this NN Global, Mrs. Aarti Girdhar ma'am. I am thankful to vice chairperson of this, Mrs. Deepa Chaudhary ma'am, who has organized it, and a special thank goes to these two people because they have also spent time with IMT University during these 5 days. I am thankful to other speakers, Shami Puroti ma'am, and Archie Shokeen ma'am, Uma Balan ma'am, Prachi Vishwas ma'am, and Nagpal sir for sharing the wonderful facts which were scientifically proved as well as practically proved during this 5 days journey. And I am also thankful to this management of IMT University, our Chancellor sir, our Honorable Pro-Chancellor sir, and our respected Vice Chancellor sir, who has given permission to organize such event. I am also thankful to our advisor ma'am, Professor Deepa Sharma ma'am, who has asked number of times to organize such type of events in our department. We are thankful to Pro Vice Chancellor Madam, Dr. Ishwari, for giving the support to this event. I am also thankful to our members of the department, HOD, Dr. Surbhi Singhal, who is taking so much pain. I was asking her to be the panelist of 1 or 2 events, but she could not because she was always busy in organizing the event out of this main circle. I am thankful to Mrs. Vatsala ma'am for doing the wonderful anchoring, and other faculty members like Dr. Alok Tripathi, Mrs. Sangeeta Sharma, and all the members, because we have a long team, all the members who have worked hard to make it a successful event during these 5 days. I am also thankful to our students, because nowadays the examinations are going on, final examinations are going on, and I have seen that immediately after examination, they have participated in the event. 12:30, they finished their exam. Do this practice in their day-to-day manner. And at last, I am highly thankful to Mr. Sunil Sharma, who is the media coordinator here in our university, for doing a wonderful press coverage of this event in local newspapers as well as this electronic media. So at last, it had been a wonderful event, and I am thankful to everyone for organizing it. And I request the NN Global Foundation to organize such type of events in future also, if they have some different topics or some different mindset for this university. Thank you, ma'am. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Surely, sir, anytime your students, faculty is, wanting to take the sessions, we are there for you. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.